My gym crush asked me to spot her. I stood behind her. She smirked. You can come closer. The first time my gym crush asked me to spot her, I almost forgot how to breathe. It was a normal Tuesday evening at the gym. The place was crowded, music was playing through the speakers, and everyone seemed focused on their own workouts. Everyone except me, because she was there. Her name was Emma. I had noticed her weeks ago, but I had never found the courage to actually talk to her. She always came in around the same time, trained seriously, and somehow managed to look completely confident without trying to get anyone's attention. I usually kept my distance, not because I wasn't interested, because I was terrified she would notice how interested I was. That evening I was finishing a set of dumbbell presses when I saw her walk toward the squat rack. She loaded the bar, adjusted the safety pins, and looked around. Then her eyes landed on me. She smiled. I immediately looked away. A few seconds later, I heard her voice. Hey. I turned around. She was standing right beside me. Yeah? Could you spot me? For a second, I honestly thought she was talking to someone behind me. Me? She laughed softly. Yes, you. I tried to act casual. Sure. She walked toward the squat rack, and I followed. My heart was beating much faster than it should have been for a simple gym exercise. She stepped under the bar and adjusted her position. I stood a little behind her. Ready? I asked. Almost. She looked over her shoulder at me. You look nervous. Nervous? Yeah. I smiled awkwardly. I'm just trying not to mess up. She raised an eyebrow. It's just a spot. I know. Then relax. She faced forward again. I took a breath and tried to focus. She unracked the bar and carefully began her first repetition. I stayed close enough to help if necessary, but I kept a respectful distance. After a few reps, she glanced back. You can come closer. I froze. She smiled. I'm serious. I don't want you standing 3 feet away if I need help. Oh. I stepped closer. Better? Much. She continued her set. I watched the bar carefully, ready to help if she struggled. But there was something else happening. The nervousness between us wasn't disappearing. It was getting stronger. When she finished the set, I helped guide the bar back onto the rack. She stepped forward and took a deep breath. Thanks. No problem. She grabbed her water bottle. You're a good spotter. I've had practice. With me? I laughed. Not exactly. She smiled. I was wondering. About what? Why you've never talked to me. I stared at her. She laughed. Got you. I rubbed the back of my neck. Okay, maybe I've wanted to. Maybe? She gave me a playful look. Definitely. She smiled. I knew it. You knew? Of course. How? You always look over when I'm here. My face went warm. I thought I was being subtle. You weren't. We both laughed. For the first time, the tension felt easy. Not awkward. Not uncomfortable. Just honest. She sat on the bench, while I stood nearby. So, she said, what's your name? I couldn't believe she was asking. Daniel. I'm Emma. I know. She looked at me. You know? I realized my mistake. I've heard someone call you that. She laughed. Right. I smiled. Okay, that sounded suspicious. It did. We laughed again. Then she asked, how long have you been coming here? About a year. And you've been watching me for how long? I nearly choked on my water. That's a dangerous question. She grinned. Just answer. A few weeks. She nodded. I thought so. Was it that obvious? Only if someone was paying attention. She looked down for a moment. Then she said quietly, I was paying attention. That sentence changed everything. I looked at her. She nodded. I noticed you too. My heart skipped. Why didn't you say anything? She shrugged. For what? For you to stop pretending you weren't interested. I laughed. Apparently, I'm terrible at pretending. Terrible. She stood up and picked up her towel. Yeah? Yeah. Maybe. I'm doing another set. Okay. You going to spot me? Yeah, absolutely. She stepped toward the rack. This time, there was no awkward distance between us. She stood behind her, focused and ready. Before she lifted the bar, she glanced over her shoulder. Don't worry. About what? Before she lifted the bar, she glanced over her shoulder. Those 3 words made me take the responsibility seriously. She completed the set without needing any help. When she racked the bar, she turned around. See? See what? I didn't need a spot. I smiled. So why did you ask me? She paused. Then she smiled. Because I wanted an excuse to talk to you. I had no answer. She laughed at my expression. You're cute when you're speechless. I don't know what to say to that. Say you want coffee. I blinked. Coffee? After the gym? She looked at me expectantly. I smiled. I'd like that. Good. She picked up her gym bag. There's a coffee place across the street. Sounds good. We walked out together. For the first few steps, neither of us said anything. Then Emma nudged my arm. So, Daniel? Yes? Next time I ask you to spot me. Yeah? You don't have to look so nervous. I laughed. I'll try. She smiled. And maybe next time, you can ask me something. Like what? Like my phone number. I stopped walking. She took a few steps before turning around. What? I smiled. Nothing. She walked back toward me. You're really going to make me ask? I pulled out my phone. Apparently. She laughed and entered her number. Then she handed the phone back. There. I looked at the screen. Emma. I smiled. Thanks. She started walking again. I followed. You know, I said, I think I owe you a better introduction. She looked at me. Go ahead. I'm Daniel. I've been coming here for a year. I drink too much coffee, I hate cardio, and I've had a crush on you for weeks. She smiled. That's much better. And you? She thought for a second. I love lifting. I pretend I don't like romantic movies, and I've been hoping you'd talk to me. I smiled. So I guess we're both bad at this. She shook her head. No. She reached for the door of the coffee shop and held it open. I think we're finally getting good at it. We walked inside together. And somehow, the girl I had been too nervous to approach at the gym became the person sitting across from me, laughing at my terrible jokes and asking me questions like we'd known each other for years. That night, there was no dramatic confession, no perfect movie moment. Just 2 people finally admitting what had been obvious to both of them. Sometimes, the biggest changes in your life don't begin with a grand gesture. Sometimes they begin with a simple question. Can you spot me? And sometimes the answer isn't really about lifting a weight. It's about giving someone the courage to take the next step. For me, that next step was coffee with Emma. And when she smiled at me across the table, I knew one thing for certain. I wasn't going to be nervous around her forever. Because now I knew she had been waiting for me too.